The exhaustion no one talks about. What if the secret to living longer isn't discipline, but doing a few things so simple they feel almost lazy? Because if you're honest, trying to improve your life is exhausting. You try to wake up earlier, fix your diet, stay consistent, be productive, stay focused, stay healthy. And somehow, even when you're doing everything right, you still feel tired. Like improving your life has quietly turned into another full-time job. And the worst part, it makes you question yourself. Maybe I'm just lazy. Maybe I lack discipline. Maybe I'm the problem. But what if that's not true? What if the problem isn't that you're not trying hard enough, but that you've been trying too hard in the wrong way? Because in Japan, people consistently live longer than almost anywhere else in the world. Not because they push themselves harder, but because they don't. Their lifestyle isn't built on extreme routines or constant self-optimization. It's built on small, almost invisible habits that don't feel like effort at all, and yet they quietly add years to life. So the real question isn't, how can I try harder? It's, what if I've been making this harder than it needs to be? The hidden problem with trying to fix your life. There's something strange about modern self-improvement. It promises a better life, but often makes you feel worse before you even begin, because everything feels intense. Strict diets, perfect morning routines, daily habits tracked down to the minute. It's like you're constantly managing yourself. And over time, that creates a quiet kind of resistance. Not loud, not obvious. Just a subtle feeling of, I don't want to do this today. And that feeling builds until eventually you stop. Not because you don't care, but because it never felt natural in the first place. And this is where most people get stuck. They assume the answer is more discipline, more structure, more pressure. But there's a different way to look at it. Human behavior doesn't respond well to constant force. It responds to ease, to environments and habits that feel natural enough to repeat without friction. And that's where Japan does something different. They don't rely on intensity. They rely on alignment. Their habits don't fight human nature. They work with it, which is why they don't feel exhausting to maintain. The truth about Japanese longevity. Most people think Japanese longevity comes from obvious things: healthy food, good health care, genetics. And yes, those matter. But they're not the full story, because there are plenty of places with good food and health care that don't produce the same level of long, healthy living. So what's different? It's not just what they do, it's how they live. Their daily life doesn't constantly drain their energy, mentally or physically. It doesn't rely on bursts of motivation. It's steady, calm, sustainable. And most importantly, it's built on habits so simple, they almost don't look like self-improvement at all. They just look like normal life. But over years, decades, those small habits compound. Not dramatically, quietly, until one day the result is obvious. Not just a longer life, but a life that actually feels livable. And once you see that, something shifts, because you start realizing maybe the goal isn't to do more. Maybe it's to remove what's unnecessary. Habit number 1, eating slowly without trying to diet. In most places, eating has become rushed. You eat while scrolling, while working, while distracted. It's quick, automatic, unnoticed. And because of that, it's easy to overeat without realizing it. In Japan, meals are different. They're slower, more intentional, not in a strict, disciplined way, but in a natural, almost cultural rhythm. People take their time. They pause between bites. They stop eating when they feel just enough. There's even a concept often followed there: eating until you're about 80% full. Not as a rule, just as a habit. And the effect is simple. You don't need strict diets because your body regulates itself. You don't need willpower because you're actually paying attention. It's not about eating less. It's about not rushing through something your body already knows how to manage. Habit number 2, moving without calling it exercise. A lot of people struggle with working out, not because they're lazy, but because it feels like a separate task, something you have to schedule, something you either succeed at or fail. In Japan, movement isn't treated that way. It's just part of life. Walking to places, using stairs, staying active throughout the day in small ways. It doesn't feel like a workout, and that's exactly why it works. Because it's consistent, there's no pressure to perform, no guilt if you miss a session, just natural daily movement that keeps the body engaged. And over time, that matters more than intensity, because the body doesn't need occasional extremes, it needs regular use. Habit number 3, staying connected without forcing. Loneliness is one of the most overlooked factors in health, not just emotionally, but physically. Studies have shown that social isolation can affect the body in ways similar to smoking or chronic stress. But here's the problem. Modern connection often feels forced. Networking, social pressure, constant communication. It can feel draining instead of supportive. In Japan, connection often looks quieter. Smaller circles, regular simple interactions, community that exists without needing to be constantly maintained or performed. It's not about having many people. It's about having enough. People you see, people you talk to, people who are just there. And that kind of connection doesn't exhaust you, it stabilizes you. Habit number 4, having a reason to wake up without pressure. There's a concept in Japan often described as having a reason to wake up in the morning. Not a big, overwhelming purpose. Not something you have to prove. Just a small reason. Something that gives your day a sense of direction. It could be work, a hobby, a routine, even something as simple as taking a walk or caring for something. And the key difference is this. It's not forced. It's not tied to pressure or achievement. It's personal. And because of that, it doesn't burn you out. It gives your life a quiet sense of meaning, which over time has a powerful effect on mental and physical health. Habit number 5, not overdoing life. A lot of modern life is built on extremes, overworking, overeating, overstimulating, always more, always pushing. But the human body doesn't thrive in extremes. It thrives in balance. And one of the simplest habits you'll notice in Japan is moderation. Not restriction, not perfection, just not overdoing things. Eating enough, working enough, resting enough, stopping before exhaustion, before excess, and that one shift alone removes a huge amount of stress from the body. Because instead of constantly recovering from extremes, you're simply maintaining balance. The real shift, living without fighting yourself. When you look at all these habits together, something becomes clear. None of them are extreme. None of them require intense discipline. None of them feel overwhelming. And that's the point. They work because they don't feel like work. They fit into life instead of taking it over. And maybe that's what's been missing. Not more effort, not more systems, just a way of living that doesn't constantly push against you. Because the truth is, you don't need to optimize every part of your life to live better. You just need to stop making it harder than it needs to be. And maybe living longer isn't about adding more years through effort, but allowing those years to come naturally when your life finally feels sustainable. Not perfect, not optimized, just human. And maybe that's enough.